Hello, this is Billy Indiana again, and today I'm going to do an unboxing of Builders of Blankenburg. And I was a supporter of the Kickstarter last year and just received this package of goodies in January and getting ready to open it up for the first time. So I supported at the level that earned me the base game plus all the different expansions. I've never played Builders of Blankenburg, and so I don't know much about the gameplay. But let's go ahead and start digging in. I think we'll start with the base game and then we'll move out towards some of these other expansions. So there's a little mini expansion called Foundations, it looks like, which we'll look at later. Not sure what this is, but some other cards in a little baggie that we'll figure out maybe later. And then the Builders of Blankenburg Cutthroat Expansion, which again we'll dig into in a little bit. And then here's the larger expansion, Fields and Flocks. All of these games and expansions are by Cobblestone Games, Peter Schultz and Liz Stefanoff, I think is how you say the names. And so we'll dig into that in a minute, but let's start with the core game. So Builders of Blankenburg by Cobblestone Games, and we can look on the end here. It says it's a 60 to 90 minute game, ages 14 and up, 2 to 5 players. On the back, the year is 1123. A new count has arrived to oversee the surrounding countryside. As word spreads, people have begun to flock to the settlement. The time is right for Blankenburg to expand into a flourishing town. Check it out. Get some interesting art there on the cover. Looks like obviously historic community. All right, so right away we can see the rule book. FAQ on the back. Looks like it's 10 pages, a long section of thanks, income example, 6-player game, alternate board, 2-player game, scoring, talking about the different phases, income phase, marketplace phase, building phase, bidding phase. Looks like mostly paragraph style introductions and instructions. So we'll have to take a look at that later and see how that comes together. All right, then we've got some punch boards here. So looks identical, so I assume it must mean we just need 2 of everything. It's a 2 to 5 player game, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or oh, I did say 6 in the rules, so maybe that's why there's 6 different colors. We got gold coins, silver coins, and then the key that they referred to. So set that aside. And then we've got the board. Said it was 2-sided, so this is the front of the board. Builders of Blankenburg there in the top corner. We can see some sort of a track across the top surface. If you look close, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see that, but you can see right under and right beside Builders of Blankenburg, there's some red dashed lines that make rectangles. A little bit harder to see as you scoot further away, but there's green ones here, and orange ones here, and blue ones here. The green one over here. And then these are tracks across the bottom. Looks like these are for the visitors they talked about, and perhaps the events with day and night and storms. Basic cards and grand cards, and some sort of cycle or wheel here. Also another resource supply of some sort, it looks like there. And Blankenburg Inn right in the middle. I believe we're building buildings from what I've read and heard about it. So it looks like there are a few buildings that are done, like Blankenburg Inn, and most of these look like they're either in disrepair or needing to be built. And so I assume that's the goal of the game, is to build up those different unique buildings. All right, if we look at the other side of the game board, let's see, okay. So the bottom looks the same. We've got the 2 tracks and the basic and the grand, and then we've got this, still the wheel, got the resources here in the middle, a little bit different shape, but, and then this looks more like a kind of a top-down map view as opposed to more of the picture view of the front. Yeah, again, it's difficult to see, but here are the blue outlines. You might be able to track those a little bit in this picture. There's the red ones and the green ones and then the orange ones here. So I assume that outlines where you can build the buildings. So that is the game board. So we'll set that aside as well. Looks like the resources are here. Cubes, oh nice actual wooden cubes. Let's see, I'll give you a close-up of this so you can see that a little bit better. So you can see the actual wood grain right there in those cubes, and then some gray cubes, which are, I think, made of wood, but don't have that wood grain, and then white and black. So you've got those. There's also some glass cubes. So I'm assuming those are additional resources. We've got a bag of 5 die. Looks like those are rolled for resources. Okay. We have a bag of baggies, which is always nice to sort out those resources. Okay, these say event. So we'll see here in a second if we can get these open and maybe see if we can take a look at those. Okay, so let's go back to the close-up screen here so you can see. So we've got the thief, refugees, exiled prince, peddler, tax collector, drunkard, little ladies, novice architect, and it goes on. It looks like there's some mostly black edged, and then we get into the red, so high holy day. So these look like mostly people. Gypsy, and then these events, maybe high holy days, harvest festival, trade flourishes, expansion. So let's see, these do say event on the back. Trade surplus is another one here. Also says event. Do these say event? Oh no, these are visitors. Okay, so these are the visitor cards. Then we've got another set of cards, and looks like player mats or player guides. Okay, these are little standees, so you can see the scoring on the back, it looks like. But then I suppose there must be something you need to hide from the other players. You can see nice art on the back of that. So looks like there are 6 of these. Okay. And then these cards. Okay, on the board there was that Roman numeral 1 and Roman numeral 2 for basic and grand, I think it said. So I'm assuming that's what these are going to be for. Alright, so we've got our, okay, there's the 2s, and then there's the 1s. Oh, looks like they're mixed, 1s and 2s. And let's see, these are Builders of Blankenburg on the back. Let's get you some close-up views again here. So on the back, we see Builders of Blankenburg, and then these character cards again: architect, city planner, draftsman, fortune teller. Art looks pretty nice. Landlord, merchant, miser, noble, ordinary master, and trader. Each turn, the marketplace phase, during the marketplace phase, you can exchange one of your resources for any other resource. Okay, so some basic people in the community, and then these again are the, I think, grand and basic cards, and it looks like they're kind of mixed together. It's some doubles here. Most of these, no, they're all mixed. So 2s and 1s kind of all mixed together. So these are the buildings, it looks like, that we can build. So there's forge, manor, statue. It looks like the colors around the edge match those outlines on the board game, or the board. So tower is red, monastery is blue, university is red. It looks like just all of the different buildings. So there's an inn. We won't go through many more. A couple inns. So there must be repeats for some: cottage, tavern, tutor, chapel. All right. So those are the big cards. So just so you can see them relative to each other. That's the Roman numeral cards and the character cards, as opposed to seeing the event and visitor cards. Just the size of those is quite a bit different. So, all right, so that's the cards involved. Like I said, I haven't opened that last pack, but that's everything in the main box. All right, so we've got Foundations Mini Expansion. Let's open this up first. This comes in a little plastic bag. And let's see, there's a card here. It looks like it might be giving some explanation. Foundations Mini Expansion. So let's check this out. Okay. Add even more to your adventures in Blankenburg with the Foundations Mini Expansion. This small pack includes new Foundations card that allow you to reserve space in town, plus new structures and other characters to enjoy. And another character to enjoy. Okay, so there's the character it looks like, the Reeve. And then Foundation, okay. Some new cards, and then a few more buildings, Shire, Guildhall, and Manor. And then this looks like directions on how to play the Foundations expansion. All right, and then this one, well, let's open up this one first. All right, this is the Builders of Blankenburg Cutthroat. All right, so alright, so on the back it says, the peaceful hamlet of Blankenburg just grew a bit darker as the competition to construct the town intensifies. Builders of Blankenburg Cutthroat allows players to take matters into their own hands in their quest to build the most prestigious structures in the town, torture opponents' buildings, steal their silver and resources, even corrupt the bidding process for a turn. When fame and fortune are at risk, everyone has a tendency to behave a bit cutthroat. So it has 8 Cutthroat cards, 2 character cards, 7 event cards, and 5 visitor cards. And then it just indicates that you do need the game to play. Looks like it's got the instructions, and then the cards included. So we'll take a look. Ooh, there's the smaller cards, same as before. The events. And then the bigger cards as well. We'll get a close-up here in a second. Same here, more small cards and large cards, so let's get a little bit close look up on those. So here's some of those bigger cards: murder, intimidation, forgery, corruption, arson. So definitely sounding like the title indicates, Cutthroat. And then here's a character, the Abbot. A hard time finding that one. And then the Money Changer, there we go. During the marketplace phase, you may convert 5 silver to a gold. Vandalism, theft, sabotage. Okay, so some characters and some events. And then there's some cards here. We've got a sculptor, a bailiff, an artist, counterfeiter, the young bride, and the black market. So, and then these are red bordered cards here: trimmers, auction block, storms, trade deficit, warehouse space, and nice place to live. The last visitor is moved to the citizen track. The last visitor is moved to the citizen track. Ability no longer applies. Okay, interesting. All right, so those are the cards that go with the Cutthroat expansion. And now let's take a look at the other little baggie here of expanded goodies. Again, some larger cards. It looks like the backs of these are the same, so I wonder if it's a reprint or yeah, it'd be interesting to figure this out. So we'll take a closer look at these and see what we notice here. So Town Founder. Maybe it's not a reprint, maybe it's just more Forester. Oh, Money Changer we saw before. Abbott we saw before. Glazier, however you say it. Arson. Spy. Corruption. So some of the same cards. Forgery, murder, intimidation, and then a few new ones I think in there. So that one's new. Alright, so I'll have to dig into some of the other descriptions here and figure out what's going on. And then these are the small cards in that little baggie. I won't go through all of them. There's quite a few here, but you can see there's some with the black background and then some with the red background. And again, it looks like some review like Nice Place to Live, but I don't remember that one before. So Town Beautification, I don't remember before either. So it looks like there's maybe just a reprinted version of the Cutthroat or just additional cards. So we'll have to check that out a little bit more. But those are just in a baggie separate, so no description of what they're for, so I have to probably do a little bit more investigation to figure that out. And then last but not least, we get the large expansion, the Fields and Flocks, which is, I think, a major part of the Kickstarter this time was doing this. And I do remember that there were going to be some reprinting of some of the cards from the original game as well. I don't know if they're in here, or if maybe that's what that baggie was, some of the reprinted cards. This one says, as the town grows, there is money to be made, not only in construction, but also in agriculture. In Fields and Flocks, you are able to plant fields and raise flocks. After all, whether it's the brewer looking for barley or the weaver who needs wool, there's a whole other economy at work in the growing town. Cement your legacy by focusing on both aspects of the town as you build it up. Got a double-sided board, rule book, lots of different kinds of cards, plus reprints of all cards from the base game. Okay, so we should see a lot of cards in here. Let's see if we can get this plastic off. It does say on the top, not a complete game, requires Builders of Blankenburg to play. So, alright, we've got that opened up. Here on the top it says 90 to 150 minutes, 14 and up, 2 to 6 players. So some of them say, some places it says 2 to 5, but it clearly can be played with 6. So, alright, and then here we've got the instructions. Okay. Much smaller this time, a lot more pictures it looks like this time, so that's nice, not quite as paragraph heavy as the original instruction book. And then a player aid here on the back. Okay, nice. And then let's see, what are these? Player aids. Okay, so individual player aids for, looks like 6 players, yeah. All right. And then the board. Okay, so I'm assuming this is a board that would be in addition to the main board, not instead of. Ooh, it's tall. So it looks like we've got some more buildings to build, and it looks like maybe a continuation of the track because it goes from 36 to 50. And then we've got red. This one's multicolor, blue, orange, green, and red. We got so red, yellow, or orange, blue, and green, and then this one's multicolor. Buy a field, buy a flock, hire a serf. And then we've got down here, looks like maybe animals and a longer extension for maybe the track. I'm guessing maybe this just goes beside the board and extends it. We'll have to read the instructions to find out. And then, yeah, it's got the same kind of thing on the back where this part's the same, but these pictures are more, looks more like a blueprint style as opposed to a pictorial style of the map. But same, hire a serf, buy a flock, buy a field. So, all right, so there's our double-sided board. And then we've got, these are really nice, some pretty fancy looking meeples here. So let's get a close-up of those. Let's dump them out of the bag so you can see a little bit better. So we'll just dump some out here. Different colors, looks like there's different pictures on the different colors. So the red ones all seem to have this sort of, is that a griffin or something? And then all different kinds of images on the red, yellow, and blue. Looks like there's green as well. So you can see some of the style there and those meeples. Looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to clean those up. I'll just move them out of the way for now. And then there's also some blue cubes. It looks like there's a little castle piece of some sort in there. And then also a cross and a crown. So some new pieces there. All right, and then in the box also we've got cards, lots of cards. Okay, so I'm wondering maybe these must be the reprint. Or maybe they're mixed. I'm not sure. We'll take a quick look. I don't want to spend too much more time digging into this just for an unboxing video, but also don't want to take a chance of giving you something that might be helpful. So, all right. So in this pack, there's some ones, and they're organized this time, looks like. So those are all the ones, and then, okay, there's the people, it looks like. Okay. And then there's the twos. All right, well, let's take a look at some of the art on these and see if we notice anything right away that's different. All right, so we've got the cathedral, monastery. Okay, the iconography is different. Much clearer, yeah. I like this iconography a lot better. So see if I can grab an old card here just so you can see a quick comparison. All right, so if we compare the iconography of the new cards and the old cards, much easier to see on the new cards, which are on the left there. So we see 3 trees and 1 rock and 2 crosses. I don't know what all the icons mean yet, but it seems a lot clearer to me how to read them. Like these little bars on the old cards are a bit hard to identify for me. Like what do those even mean? And like here it looks like, oh, we've got an estate and an estate. All right, so we see looks like 3 of one thing, so 3 lumber maybe, 3 trees, and then 1 stone, and then 2 glass maybe, and then 1 cement or whatever that is, I don't know, and then 1, yeah, these little black bars here are a little bit hard to see, these pictures. Once you identify what each one means will be good. And then I assume this 1 matches this 1. And then this picture just shows that it's a building, I'm guessing. And then I'm not sure what the 4 and the 4 mean, other than potentially it takes 4 gold and 4 silver. But definitely the newer cards here on the left, I think the iconography is much better. So that looks like a good upgrade. All right, we won't go through too many more of these. We're going to just glance at a couple more. The manor, the mill, the brewer. And we can see all the different colors. And then here are some of the people again: the overseer, carpenter, architect, city planner, draftsman, fortune teller. So yeah, nice job on redoing those cards, I think. And then I'm not sure if these cards are remakes. It looks like those say event and these say citizen, but there's definitely some different colors in here. Just even looking from the side in the package, you can tell that there's some different colors. So yeah, looking just at the side of that, you can see right where it splits. So fields, which obviously would be from the fields and the flocks. So we've got our fields cards. And then these are the citizen cards down to here. So I guess the citizens and the visitors, probably reprints. And this is the last pack to open. All right, looking at the back, we've got our events. And our flocks. Okay, so let's go back to close-up. So here's the field cards, which I believe would be just for the expansion primarily. Fields and flocks for the expansion. And then I think these must be the reprinted event cards. I don't know if they'll be any different than before. Blizzard, conscription, early spring, earthquake, Expansion. So it'd be interesting to look and compare, but I think those just are repeats or reprints. And then the Citizens, these look a bit different. So Tavern, Cottage, Brewery. This looks a little bit cleaner, I think, maybe. Winch, Spice Merchant, Soldier, Scholar, and on and on. So that's our people, Citizens, and then the Visitors. So Destitute Lord, Fellmonger, Imposter, Laborers, and there's descriptions under these. The owner of the structure they stay at gains 1 serf. Okay, so Alchemist. So then, yeah, these are the updated Visitors, maybe new cards as well as reprinted from the first. So that is all. So we've gone through all the boxes. Hopefully that is helpful for you to see what comes in the Kickstarter with the Fields and Flocks expansion. So we've gone through the base game, Fields and Flocks expansion, the Cutthroat expansion, the Foundations expansion, and then the little baggie of extra cards, which I'm guessing is reprints of the Cutthroat. It looked like they had the same back. So I'm interested to play it. It looks like there's going to be a fair bit to learn. I've heard some people say it's similar to Catan in the sense that you're gaining resources and using those resources to build, but more complex because you have the different visitors coming as well as people who live in the town. Like I said, I'm going to have to do a little bit of reading through the rules and figure out exactly how to play. And once we've had a chance to do that and understand the game and hopefully get a few games under our belt, maybe we can put together a little overview and review video for you as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing and getting to see what came in the Builders of Blankenburg with Fields and Flocks expansion Kickstarter. Thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana.